How would you like to 8x your YouTube views and more than double your subscribers? That is what we're going to talk about today with my client, Dungeon Delvers, who I actually managed to do that for in just about a month of optimizations and implementing a shorts strategy. So this is Dungeon Delvers. They're a ttrpg actual play and a client of mine that I brought on in late May. Their goal was to get them to 500 subscribers, build them something scalable, and get more new viewers on their ttrpg actual plays. They do a lot of other stuff, but that's their bread and butter. That's what they want to grow for now. So I looked at what they were doing, and I determined that I wanted to test a shorts strategy. We started by looking at what they'd already done, all right, which was very low SEO optimization. Here's an example of what they were posting right before I hopped on. They're trying a lot of things, but I didn't think that they were trying the right things. So the first thing I wanted to test was Opus Clips, which is a long form video taken into short form video, automated AI tool. It takes proper hashtags, it looks at title, it posts everything for you. And I wanted to see how that did. Well, looking at the results, when they started doing that, they went from 30, 50 views to 100, 400, 706 views. But that still wasn't quite good enough. It couldn't handle the amount of content that they were doing, and these results weren't worth the price that they would have to pay for it to handle that. So I wanted to test it now against me, and I put in some different optimizations because this was what Opus Clips was doing, and I'm sure that Bacon and Eggs and Kitchen Tables came in, Kitchen Tales came into play, but it was clear that the AI just didn't understand what the purpose of everything was and just wasn't optimizing for the right things. So I came in, this was the first video I posted with some better, more clear optimizations, and I tied it all back to the original video that I was pulling from. And I was pulling clips that I decided were going to do well. I was posting them on TikTok for the captions and then posting them on YouTube. And I was posting them with optimizations that I approved and I wrote myself. And the results were pretty immediate. We started bumping up. Here's the very first one on May 27th. We bumped up to 1,000, and since then we've had several in the thousands, and our duds are now considered what was really good for them in just over a month ago. And the results that you can see very clearly are right here, where May 27th through July 8th, 43 days, compared to the previous period, the previous 43 days, April 14th to 26th, to show exactly how are they doing before, how are they doing after. All right, you can see over here is their little bump from Opus Clips that they were getting in late May. And then over here you can see how I gave them an overall lift with even better optimized video. But what are the results beyond views? Because views aren't the only thing that matter. Are they views from new viewers? Are they views from just shorts? Are they views from people who aren't subscribing? Well, the results are wonderful. So first you can see that the views have been 8x'd from 3,000 in that time period to 27,000, and this is just over the course of 43 days, a little over a month. But that's not the only thing that matters. How do their subscribers do? In the previous period, they'd gotten almost 30. In this period, they got 67, more than double the amount of subscribers that they were getting before. But again, the goal is to get them to watch the ttrpg actual plays. So to look at that, we're going to look at time watched. All right, average view duration. All right. No, the average view duration is brought down by the shorts. What we want to do is watch time, okay? That is the amount of time watched. And I guarantee you that the shorts that are 11 seconds to 30 seconds on average aren't what's driving this. They went from 581 watch time hours in the previous period to 1,233 watch time hours, which is more or less double. All right, and you can see straight away that these are coming from their long form video, not from their short form video. I'm not seeing any of my shorts on here because they're shorts. They're not going to bring up this watch time like this, but it does show that the long form videos are getting more visibility, the traffic is getting driven to them, whether it's because it's from the shorts or because YouTube's giving them more visibility because it sees how well the channel is doing from the short strategy. That's a little difficult to determine, but regardless, we know for a fact that the strategy in some way has pushed them to almost double their watch time hours. There's other interesting things that you can look at here. Let's take a look at impressions. This is interesting because impressions are actually down. All right. Even though they're getting all these 8x short views, even though they've more than doubled their subscribers, and even though they've almost doubled their watch time, they're getting less impressions. Why? Because I've been informing the algorithm with the short form strategy about who to impress them upon. They're getting more engagement. Their impression click-through rate is up. It went from almost 1% from 1.5%, about a 50% increase. All right. That tells me that the algorithm is understanding more and more who to put their content in front of, and it's improving the rate at which people are clicking through because it's being shown to the right people, because the algorithm understands what people are going to enjoy their content. All right, let's see if we have any other really good pieces of information that we can look at this. How about new viewers? All right, new viewers in the previous period, 992, less than 1,000. New viewers in this period, 6,950. We more than 6x'd their new viewers, okay? And you can see the highlights did help a lot with this, all right? Getting them the new viewers. Now, there was another interesting thing I wanted to look at, and I wanted to look at traffic source, okay? So here's their traffic source. And you could see that 83% of their current traffic since I put in this system is 83% of theirs, okay? And it used to only be 54%. Now, you might think initially that that's a bad thing because you don't want all their views coming from shorts. But the math is very clear here. Before, they were getting only 3,364 views in total. If I take this total of 27,000, all right, 498 views, and I subtract all the shorts, okay, that's 22,871. I'm removing the shorts traffic. Their non-shorts traffic is almost 5,000. It's 4,727. Their non-shorts traffic is higher than their entire channel's traffic that they were getting just a little over a month ago. So no, it's not a bad thing because the pie overall has gotten bigger. Their non-shorts traffic now outdoes what their entire traffic was. And let's look at what their non-shorts traffic was before. Right now it's 4,700. Let's just call it that for easy math. But it was 3,364 minus their shorts traffic of 1,821. All right. It was 1,543, and we bumped that up to 4,700. Very clear and obvious upward mobility, all right? And they're coming from a lot of the same places. YouTube features, it's hard to tell where that's coming from exactly. Browse features, they're showing up very well in the browser, more in the browser, but at a lower percentage. Channel pages, they're showing up more in channel pages. YouTube search, they're showing up more in YouTube search. And in playlists are getting double about the amount of views that they were getting before. Suggested video, they're actually being suggested less, but again, we know that the click-through rate is higher, which shows me again, they're being shown to the right people. I'm going to wrap this up right here because I think that this is just an amazing case study to show how well a well thought out strategy, a little bit of early testing, and still ongoing testing. We started by posting them at 7 a.m. We moved to posting them at 7 p.m. and we've tested other timings. We've tested different optimizations with the SEO, and I'm constantly testing things to keep it more and more on the right path to getting more and more views. But overall, it's going to continue to cook in this wonderful little upward mobility that it's been having versus where it was. If you're at all interested, I highly recommend you look into this strategy and see what you can do for yourself. Until next time, I'm Zack Applewhite. Go follow Dungeon Delvers and have an awesome day.